Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Let's talk about if there's any benefit to working a corporate job. So when I talk about benefits, right, I'm not talking about benefits, right, like 401k, dental, health insurance, right, any of that, right, because, you know, it's so funny how the system is set up, right? They say that, like, you know, whenever you talk about, like, whenever I bring up a job to my parents, right, they're always asking the question, do they have benefits? Do they have benefits? And I'm like, you know, it's so funny that they ask that question to me, because I look, you know, I have Indeed and LinkedIn, so I look at jobs all the time, right? And I'm like, bro, almost every company, right, unless it's like a small business, every company offers some form of benefits. So it's like, it's so funny that they label it benefits when it's like almost every company offers it. So it's like, bro, what is the benefit? Like, what's the benefit if every company gives benefits? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, in my eyes, I look at a benefit as something that's gonna, like what is, like, basically, like, if I'm looking at a company that I want to work for, right, I'm looking at a benefit, like, what is the benefit of working here that I wouldn't get elsewhere? So if this place offers 401k, medical, dental, whatever else, and I look at other jobs and they have the same thing, why would I, like, why is that even a concern? Like, why is that even a differential? Like, in meaning, like, why would I even care about that? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, why do they label that, or why do people why do people in society try to be like, oh, do they have benefits? You know, do they have retirement plan? Do they have this? Do they have this? Do they have that? Yeah, of course they do. So does everyone else. So does every other company. So we're not going to talk here about benefits in the sense of traditional benefits that you get from applying or enrolling in a company. What I'm going to talk about is the real benefit, and that's your pay, right? Because everyone wants to talk about 401 and medical and dental and all this shit, right? And, you know, it's so funny. Most of the medical shit that you get, the health insurance and everything, yeah, you might need it well into your 90s, but it's so funny. We pay into that for the first, like, 40 years of our life, and we don't even get sick. So it's just so funny how the system's set up. It's like they're literally taking our money when it's like, bro, I'm not even sick. Yeah, I might have a problem. I might have something happen to me, right? But that's the what's it called? That's like a very scarce reality, you know, that I might have something crazy happen. You know, some other people might need immediate, you know, health insurance. If you're fat, if you're overweight, if you don't take care of yourself, right? But even like me, like I don't necessarily have the best diet or workout routine, but I can tell you for sure, you know, and I don't know, but I don't think I'm gonna need like a crazy amount of health insurance. Like, to me, it's like, hey man, like, I stay pretty healthy, right? I eat pretty well, I get sleep. So it's like, hey man, when I die, I die. But hey man, it's funny because they try to take your money while you're alive, and it's like you're not even sick. So it's like, bro, I'm basically getting robbed but it's like they're trying to basically like give you the illusion that they're helping you by putting money into something that can help you later, when it's like, bro, in the moment, in the immediate 10, 15, 20 years, it's like, bro, y'all are really just robbing me, right? So we're not going to talk about benefits in that sense. We're going to talk about pay, right? I think corporate jobs can be beneficial to a degree, to a very limited degree, right? Because here's the thing, if you're young, right, and you want to rise the ranks, go for it, right? If you want to be an executive, a vice president, a CEO, go for it. But, you know, I mentioned this in other videos as well. Once you start to get into those higher ranking positions, you can't really be, you have to put on a facade. You have to put on a mask, right? So not only do you rob yourself of authenticity, right? Because as you get up into the ranks, you have to watch what you say. Because the higher you get, the more the company is invested, they have more investment, and they have more to lose if you screw something up. If you say something that puts them in a jeopardized position, right? Whether it's sexual harassment, diversity, something involved in diversity inclusion, you know, whatever it is, right? If you have something going on with an employee, the higher you get, the more you have to kind of like repress your authenticity. And that's the problem, right? Because, you know, a lot of you guys are creative. A lot of you guys, you know, like to speak your mind. Like me, I'm very outspoken, right? I'm a quiet guy, but I'm also very real. Like if I speak with someone, I really tell them how it is, right? And the higher you get, the less people you can trust, and the more you have to really just stick to business, right? And, you know, that's not a problem. But personally, me, I don't want to live that way forever, right? I don't want to be suppressing how I feel, suppressing my heart, suppressing my creativity, you know, for the rest of my life, just for a good salary, right? So not only does it rob you of that, but it robs you of also your earning potential. And let me explain. So not only does it rob you of your authenticity, you have to suppress kind of like yourself, your realness, right? The things you want to speak about, right? Because you may have the fear of getting in trouble, or you may have the fear of saying the wrong thing to somebody, and now your job is in a jeopardized position. But let's talk about earnings, right? So most of your earnings, right, the higher you get, it's just going to depend on a promotion, right? So you make this amount of salary, right? And then maybe you get a bonus or commission, depending on who you work for or what your sales are. But after that, it's like, hey, you know, I can be in a position for 5 years and make the same amount of money, right? But let's say I'm, you know, in a corporate job, but let's say I'm in the trades, or I have my own business, right? I can 10x, 20x, 30x, 50x my income because I'm self-employed, right? So you have to think about that as a like the benefit of your pay, meaning like how limited is my earning potential going to be by working here in the long run, right? Because, you know, the higher you get, typically the longer in between a promotion is, right? So, you know, from a executive director to a vice president, you might have to wait 5 or 10 years to get a $100,000 pay raise, right? And now that's pretty good, but it's not something that's unaccomplishable by having your own business, right? Like I can make, you know, there's guys out there online, and there's guys in the trades and everything who have their own business who make, you know, they 10x their income in 12 months, in 2 years. They don't have to wait 10 years to get a promotion, right? So I'm not saying that you can't get to a certain level in a company and ride it out for a little bit. But I think your best option, right? Like, let's say, for example, you know deep down, like, you don't want to be at this corporate job forever, right? But you're here now. You know, you're doing your thing. I think the best route, you know, because like I said, you know that your income's not going to be like, you know that the income potential at this job isn't going to be as good as if you were self-employed, you had your own business, or you're doing your own thing, right? So I think it's a good idea to, you know, try to aim to make between $80,000 and $100,000 a year, right? I mean, it's all, you know, it's hard to put a number on it because we all have different life. We have different, like some of you guys might have kids, some of you guys might live in a different part of the country, right? Some of you guys might have different things you have to pay for. So like I said, I can't like pinpoint it for everyone because everyone's life is different. But basically, I feel like a good number is 6 figures, right? If you aim for that, right, as a 5-year plan, I think everyone can do that in a 5-year plan, right? If you're doing everything right, if you're staying consistent. And then I think from that point, like once you get to like a 5-year mark, you're making that money, you know, you'll have money at the end of every month now, you know, if you're minimizing your expenses, if you're budgeting to now invest into a business, into your assets, right? So if that's not what you want to do, right? Because like I said, the benefits really aren't there, right? As far as your income potential, right? So once you hit like a certain limit, now it's like each time you get promoted, the carrot just, they dingle the carrot farther back, right? So, and you're like a rat just chasing the carrot every time, right? Every time you get promoted, the carrot just goes back. You get promoted again, the carrot goes back. So, I mean, it's like that with everything. So I'm not saying it's just in this one specific thing I'm talking about, but you want to look at the situation like, hey man, this is not going to be somewhere where I'm going to have crazy earning potential, right? And that's the biggest benefit. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care about health insurance. I don't care about 401k, because 401k is great, right? You know, you get free money. They give you your little piece of change every week. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be life-changing money, right? I'm looking at, when I talk about your earning potential, I'm talking about money that's going to change your life. I'm talking about money that's going to like change the living situation of your, not only yourself, but your family, right? So if it's just you, that's great. But also if you want to take care of your family, right? If you want to live financially free, this is what I'm kind of aiming at here when I'm speaking about your earning potential, right? So I think it's best, like I said, aim to earn 6 figures in a 5-year mark, right? And then, like I said, it's going to be different for everyone. I don't know what you guys like. So the business that you choose isn't going to be the business I'm going to do, or the business someone else is going to do, or the business your friend's going to do. Maybe you want to be a day trader, right? Maybe you want to be a swing trader. Maybe you want to be a real estate investor, right? But at the end of the day, I think we all can do something. And I think our earning potential is definitely stifled in a corporate job once we get to a certain level, right? Another thing too, you know, everyone answers to somebody. So even business owners, they have to answer to the people below them, right? Because they have questions or they have concerns or they need help with something. So I'm not trying to say that you're going to be like just free from people and free from stress and free from like, you know, just dealing with people. But what I can say is this as well. When you're in a corporate setting, you're dealing with very low competent and low caring people. Think of, you know, like me, I'm hourly and commission. So I have an incentive to work hard because my sales, right, are to the degree that I do well in selling my product and upselling and keeping the store fully stocked and everything like that. That's how good my commission will be. So I'm incentivized to work hard. But the people below me that make $13, $14 an hour, right, who don't get any commission, they're looking at it like, hey, why am I going to bust my ass, right? I'm going to do all this work and I'm still getting paid the same at the end of the day. And most of these people don't want to move up. So if you don't want to move up and you're not commission based, you know, they're looking at it like, hey, why am I going to bust my ass? So you got to think about it. Like, if that's everyone's mentality below you, you're going to be really frustrated working in this kind of setting, because everyone below you, it's like you're only as good as your team, right? To the degree that your team functions as a whole. So if everyone below you has that kind of like, just that attitude of like, hey, like I'm getting paid this amount and I'm only going to do what I need to do mentality. If that's your whole team, right? And you're a boss or whatever, like you're going to not enjoy that. That's not going to be an enjoyable thing. Like to me, it's like, I want to work with people. I don't know about you guys, but I want to work with people who want more, right? Like that's the goal, is to like, because when people below you want more, you can demand more of yourself. Like, for example, if people below me don't want to get promoted, right? And they have a shitty attitude and they don't just do the bare minimum. How do you think I'm going to feel every time I go in there? Do you think I'm going to be inspired to work hard? Do you think I'm going to be inspired to want to try and train people and advance, right? Like, if there's no sense of advancement in a corporate job setting, right? That's where it starts to feel like you're stifled and your growth is kind of like curbed in a sense, right? So, you know, if you're like if you have your own trading business, like if you're a electrician, if you're a mechanic, if you're a plumber, if you're into air conditioning, right? AC, HVAC, you can charge by the hour because your skill set is so in demand, right? You can charge whatever you want because you're in way more need than someone who's running a grocery store or a gas station or a restaurant. You get what I'm trying to say? So understanding that is crucial to understanding like the benefits of how pay works in the world, right? So self-employment, it's the same thing. Like if I'm doing YouTube, right? I like the fact that I'm in direct control of how I do, and my work isn't like, my work isn't affected by people working below me. Like, it's just me working on this. It's just me creating these videos, this content, right? No one else is like, I don't have to worry about other people bullshitting, right? It's just me here. You get what I'm trying to say? And the same thing, right? You know, I mean, if you're self-employed and you're working by yourself as a handyman, that's different, right? If you're like a private contractor, you know, you can obviously, and that's another benefit too. It's like, hey, I'm doing the fucking job, so I'm charging what I want, and there's no one below me holding me back. No one's complaining, no one's arguing, no one's having a bad attitude. So I think it really boils down to your earning potential and your ability to like deal with people. Like dealing with people being around people who have like low motivation is very disencouraging, right? It's discouraging. So understanding that, I think you can make a very formalized approach into how you set up your life when it comes to your career and potentially transitioning into self-employment and entrepreneurship. So just keep that in mind. Like when you're working a job, like I want you guys to be intentional. Like with whatever you're doing, have an intention behind it. Don't just like go to a job and it's like, oh, I'm just here, I'm doing this. Like, no, like think of it as a plan. Like, okay, like where is this job going, right? If this job isn't going anywhere, what is my paycheck going to, right? Can I get another job that I can use that money to do something? Like everything has to go somewhere. You can't just do, especially when it comes to your career, guys, because like I said, that's why most people get stuck in a career, because they get so, they don't understand. I think it's a lack of understanding of the fact that like, if you aren't intentional about what you're doing, about your pay, about where your money's going, about what you want to do with this job or where you want to transition into, right? If you're just clueless about that, or you don't care about finding it out like more about like what you want in that sense, then you're screwed, right? And that's why most people live paycheck to paycheck, because it's like, hey man, they go and they have zero plan. And I'm not saying your plan has to be perfect. I'm not saying your plan has to completely align. But like I said, I mention this all the time, right? If you have goals, right? If you have a vision and you're following through on that every day, and you're like, okay, in 2 years, I want to be in this position. And then once I get that position, I make this amount of money, then I'm going to use that money to do this, right? So, you know, I think, and I'm kind of going on a tangent, but I think every person who's in a career, right, you should set 1 to 2 year goals, right? Because that puts you in the present moment, and it basically forces you to be like, okay, I have this 1 or 2 year goal. It's more foreseeable than a 5 or 10 year goal. So, hey, if I have a 1 or 2 year goal, what can I do today, right, that's going to move me in that direction, right? And usually you can know the answer, right? You can know the answer. If it's a 1 or 2 year goal, it's easier to know what to do in the now than having a 10-year goal. Like picture yourself in 10 years. That's a lot harder to picture yourself in 2 years. You know what I'm trying to say? So just understand that when you're working a job, and understand the earning potential, the benefits, right? How the pay is set up, what you have to deal with, right? And I think if you kind of learn that, right? If you learn the ins and outs of that, you can make better informed decisions on where you want to go and what you want out of your career, out of your business, and out of your ability to earn more money. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.